Woo! Does this thing still work? It feels like it's been a long time, man. Listen, I was under the weather. I was down pretty bad. That sickness had me 6 feet deep, it felt like. I tried to come back and record a video for Monday, the primetime picks video, but I legitimately could not say two sentences without my voice giving out and having to chug a bottle of water here. I tried. I did get through the video. It was going to be about 10 minutes, ended up being about 25 with all the breaks, and I was editing it. And there was just like cuts of me transitioning to a new frame pretty much every 10-15 seconds. It didn't look good. So I didn't want to put it out there, but just know I did try for you guys, and I'm feeling a lot better. I'm completely out of the woods as far as sickness goes. I'm sure you can tell my voice still sounds a little bit different, but like I said, I feel good. I think it's just a matter of my body kind of flushing out all the gunk that's still up in there. But yeah, tell you what, to celebrate being back, I'm putting out 2 videos today. Here we have got our MLB betting picks, and then I don't know exactly when, but couple hours, probably later in the day, probably late morning, I'm going to be putting out a week 1 sort of sports betting recap from the NFL, where we're going to talk about where I was right, where I was wrong, things we learned, big trends from last week, and trends you should know going into the next week. So it's a recap, preview, sort of. We're just feeling everything out. We're going to see how it goes, to be totally honest. But I would really appreciate it if you guys tune into this video. It's going to be more of a conversational, informal sort of style. But like I said, we're going to talk about a lot of trends, which will definitely help you guys as you get prepared to place your bets for week 2 of the NFL season. And then, of course, tomorrow, we're also going to have the primetime picks for Thursday Night Football and all sorts of other stuff in the weekend. But like I said, we are back with the MLB betting picks. It's been just about a week now, but I tell you what, we are here. We're feeling good, and we are happy to bring back Pick 5, Win 5. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between. Welcome back to my daily betting show, where it is my job to give you my 5 favorite plays in the sports betting world. The last time we were here, you'll notice it says, where is it? I think it says last time. I don't know. I actually haven't made the overlay yet. I think it's going to say last time. Normally it says yesterday, but it's going to say last time because, like I said, it's been about a week. But the last time we did give out some picks on this channel, we did go 3-2. We are still in the profit, well over double-digit unit profit. Sorry, that was a bit of a mouthful. Double-digit units of profit over the course of the MLB betting picks. And you know what? We're going to find out. Am I rusty, or have I been paying attention enough to deliver some winners today? Whatever that is, I do like these picks. I'm confident in them. You live with the result if you're confident in the picks, and I've got them coming up in just a moment. But before I give them to you, you all know what to do to celebrate the return of the MLB betting picks. Smash that like button, and also smash that subscribe button. Like I said, we've got MLB betting picks. We've got NFL picks, all sorts of amazing content coming to the channel, especially with the World Series on the way, the NBA season starting soon, NFL season just getting started. There's a lot of stuff coming to the channel, and you guys are really going to appreciate it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on into my first pick. Sorry about that. Just needed to make sure that I was recording with the microphone audio and not my laptop audio, because that is the worst when that happens, because I end up having to re-record full 15-20 minutes of content. But okay, my first pick here, I'm taking the over of 8.5 runs in the Braves-Phillies matchup. Look, Spencer Strider is getting the start for the Braves here. Awesome pitcher. Seemed like he was in the Cy Young race for a while, although I think he's firmly dropped out of it. He's 16-5 with a 3.83 ERA and a 1.09 WHIP, taking on Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies, who's 2-3 with a 3.26 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. Now, Strider has given up 10 earned runs in his last 8.2 innings across his last 2 starts. He's great when he's good. He's great when he's good. Wow, that was poetic, wasn't it? But he's awful when he's bad. Great when he's good, awful when he's bad. I have a real way with words, don't I? Now, Sanchez, his ERA, I just want to say this, his ERA is 2.5 points higher at home than it is on the road, and this game is being played in Philadelphia. He threw a 5-inning shutout in his last start, but he did have a 4.88 ERA last month, so up and down with him so far. And it's the same thing with Strider. Like I said, when he's on, he's money. He's going 6 innings, no earned runs. But when he's bad, he gives up 6 earned runs in less than 2 innings, like he did to Who was it? Was it the Phillies? It was some team last month, but I do remember that happening. Both of these offenses, we know how elite they are. They're both in the top 4 in scoring over the last month, and they're hanging around the top of the rankings for the season as a whole. The fact this is an away game for the Braves means that we're getting at least 9 innings of offense from them, or if it's like yesterday, then we're going to get some extra innings out of them. The Phillies have hit the over in 10 of their last 15 games and in 4 of their last 5. The Braves have hit the over in 8 of their last 9. Yesterday's game that I was just talking about, that obviously did go over. I mean, the fact it went into extra innings, it was never in doubt. The game did go over fairly easily. Both teams, if you look at their average, as far as on average, do they clear or do they miss the over? On average, they score at least a half run more than the points total. So how do I put this in other words? If the points total is 8, if there's an over-under of 8 runs, both teams score at least 8.5 runs. You see what I'm saying? They hit the over by at least half run per game over the course of the season. Now, both teams do have top 10 bullpens as far as ERA goes, mostly in general, but then also over the last 30 days as well. That is the warning sign that I would put here. But like I said, yesterday's game did go over fairly easily. The bats are hot right now. Not that the Phillies are contending with the Braves for a division title, but, they're contending for the postseason. I think that both teams are going to come out, give good offensive performances. And you know what? It really only takes 1 run. I mean, either one of these teams can score 6, 7, 8 runs in 1 inning, and that would pretty much get you to the over. So I'm taking over 8.5 in Braves-Phillies for the first pick. My second pick will be the Oakland Athletics plus 1.5 versus the Houston Astros. Not enough has been made about the Astros' inability to win games on their home field. And maybe I'm responsible for that because I can remember a few occasions where I've taken the Astros, not only the money line, but their run line at home. But I mean, I've learned my lesson, and it's well documented as far as my book goes. I've really noticed this trend with them, and I'm interested to tell you guys more about it. But before I do, let me tell you about the pitchers. Paul Blackburn getting the starts for the Athletics here. He's 4-4 with a 3.88 ERA and a 1.51 WHIP. A 3.88 ERA for the Athletics damn near makes him a Cy Young contender. Hunter Brown will get the start for the Astros. He's 10-11 with a 4.78 ERA and a 1.37 WHIP. Blackburn, in 2 starts this month, has a 3.38 ERA, and he had a 2.35 ERA last month. So he's put together a lot of very impressive starts. Meanwhile, Brown has given up 9 earned runs in just over 8 innings in his last 2 starts. He has a 9.72 this month. He had a 6.23 in August, and he had a 5.92 in July. So that's 2.5 sort of months of very, very inadequate play. And his ERA is over 6 at home. I was talking about the Astros struggle to win games at home. They're going to be hard-pressed to do that when their pitcher has an ERA over 6 at home as well. Here's some of the here's some more of the numbers that I was trying to tell you about. I have no idea what that just was. The Astros are 31-42 against the spread when they are at home. 31-42 against the spread at their home stadium, and they have only covered in 4 of their last 14 home games. I know, hard to believe, right? With the amount of runs they score and all the talent on this team and their betting odds. As a matter of fact, well, I've got you all here. I hope you can forgive the delay for just a second. I want to see where the Astros are in World Series odds, because I've got to imagine they're definitely in the top 3, right? They're second in World Series odds. They're plus 500. Only the Braves are ahead of them. The Braves are plus 240. The Astros are plus 500. The Dodgers are plus 600. And the Astros are only 1 game over 500 at home. And they've got all these problems that I'm telling you about. That's just something to keep an eye on when we get into postseason betting here. Where was I? So, like I said, Astros 31-42 against the spread when they're at home. The Athletics are 35-38 against the spread when they are away. Now, of course, that is still 3 games under 500, but it's better than 11 games under 500. And they've also covered in 5 of their last 6 away games. You can tell I'm a little bit rusty with these videos. Sorry. The Astros, like I said, they do have one of, if not the best offense in the league. As of recently, you would probably still give the advantage to the Braves, but you got to put the Astros in the top 3 at worst. But the Athletics have been creeping towards league average over the last month or so. The Athletics also do score more runs and just hit the ball better when they are on the road. So I think that they can put together a good performance here and cover the run line. And the Athletics have won the first 2 games in the series, by the way. They've won the first 2 games in this series. Maybe you're thinking it's time for the Astros to bounce back, and I can't fault you for that logic. But even if the Astros do win, I still like the Athletics to cover. So Athletics plus 1.5, that's the second pick. Let's skip it on over to my third pick here. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Dodgers money line versus the San Diego Padres. Now, Blake Snell, is he the league leader in ERA right now? Somebody let me know in the comments. I know he's been right up there. He's been 1-2 with Justin Steele. The bottom line is he's 13-9 with a 2.52 ERA and a 1.25 WHIP. Taking on Ryan Pepio, not exactly sure how to pronounce his last name. Normally, a lot of the times I watch games, I listen or I watch with the volume off, just so I can try to analyze the game for myself. But Ryan Pepio, Ryan. Ryan P. Ryan P is 2-0 with a 0.86 ERA and a 0.52 whip. Now, Snell, his numbers are excellent. I can't really find anything to fault him with. The only thing I can say is he's given up at least 2 earned runs in 5 of his last 7 starts. So despite him being excellent all season long, it's not like he's been pitching a bunch of shutouts recently. He's still giving opponents the opportunity to score a couple runs. And sometimes when you play the Dodgers, a couple runs is all it takes. Now, Ryan P, he's got back-to-back shutouts on his last 2 appearances. One was 5 innings, one was 7 innings. And in minor league this season, in the minor leagues, he had a 3.97 ERA and a 1.15 WHIP. So very impressive numbers, not just to start off his professional career in MLB, but also in the minor leagues as well. Now, over the course of the season, the Dodgers are scoring over 1 more run per game than the Padres are. That trend has not changed much recently. I know you guys hear me talk a lot about, outputs over the last 30 days. It's just about the same as of recently. The Dodgers are still doing the damn thing, and they score. They don't score more, but they play better at their home stadium. The reason they don't score more is because a lot of the times they don't get 9 innings of offense, but their batting average, slugging percentage, stuff like that, it is up when they're at their home stadium. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Dodgers bullpen recently because it has been lights out. And when you think back to the struggles they had in the bullpen at the start of the year, it's amazing how far they've come in this journey of theirs across the season as a whole. Over the last 30 days, they have a bullpen ERA of 2.09. That is absolutely out of this world. The Padres isn't bad. They've got a bullpen ERA of 3.50, but clearly that's not even close to the 2.09 that the Dodgers have been pitching. The Padres are only 29-41 away from home. The Dodgers are 47-25 when they are at home. Now, the Padres did win the first game in this series. They may have won yesterday, recording this video before we get the final result, but barring any major injuries, which if there are any, I will make sure to put it in the pinned comment below. But I do like the Dodgers to win this game for fair value on the money line, so I'll take them for my third pick. Okay, maybe I got a little bit ahead of myself. I'm finding out for myself right now that in between each pick, I need to chug water for about 10 seconds to get my voice to come back to me, but we're not going to pay that any mind. We're going to go on into my fourth pick here, which is the over of 9 runs in the Rays-Twins matchup. Taj Bradley on the bump for the Rays here. He is 5-7 with a 5.44 ERA and a 1.41 WHIP, taking on Dallas Keuchel, who's 1-1 with a 4.78 ERA and a 1.41 WHIP. Both guys got a 1.41 WHIP. That's interesting. Bradley gave up 4 earned runs in 6 innings in his last start, and he also had a 7.89 ERA in August and a 6.26 ERA in July. Meanwhile, Keuchel has given up not given up. He's actually had 4 of his 6 starts have been really good, and most of them have been shutouts. But the two bad ones have been really bad. This is the thing with Keuchel. I think we're looking at sort of a Lance Lynn phenomenon where when he got traded to the Dodgers, he had an ERA of like 2.0 something. And going into that Braves game, I said, I'm not convinced that he's got the bad starts out of his system all of a sudden. I think he's going to get shelled eventually, and that is exactly what ended up happening. Keuchel had an ERA of around 10 last year, and he had a 5.28 ERA the year before. Like I said, I'm just not convinced that he suddenly kicked those bad outings out of his system. Both these teams are 6th and 9th in scoring over the last 30 days of play. The Twins, we all know, hit a ton of home runs. In fact, that's how they generate most of their offense, but they do hit a lot of home runs at home, and this game is being played in Minnesota, so that will help them. Meanwhile, Bradley gives up a home run once nearly every 5 innings, which is pretty bad. That's definitely less than desirable. The Twins hit the over in 13 of the last 20. The Rays have hit the over in 6 of their last 9 and 15 of the last 23. So I will be taking the over of 9 runs in Rays-Twins for the 4th pick here. And you know what? My voice is holding up, so we're just going to move on into the 5th and final pick. But before I give it to you guys, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Like I said, we've got MLB betting picks. We've got NFL content, whether it be favorite picks or recaps, game previews, all that wonderful stuff. you guys really want to subscribe to the channel, I promise you that it is worth it. We've got awesome content coming out all the time. Okay, my fifth and final pick. I'm taking the Blue Jays money line versus the Texas Rangers. Yusei Kikuchi on the bump for the Blue Jays. He's 9-5 with a 3.57 ERA and a 1.24 WHIP, going against Jordan Montgomery of the Rangers, who's 8-11 with a 3.62 ERA and a 1.24 WHIP. Kikuchi's been very consistent this year. He's got a 2.79 ERA this month, had a 3.03 last month, 3.91 before that, and a 2.28 before that. Can't fault him in any way. Montgomery is he was on a good stretch, I should say. He had a 2.30 ERA last month, but he's given up 3+ earned runs in 3 straight outings, and he's given up 11 earned runs in his last 2 starts over just over 8 innings pitched across those 2 outings. The Rangers won the first 2 games in this series, but they have struggled offensively on the road compared to their home performances pretty much the entire year. Yesterday's win also did take them past the Blue Jays in wild card standings. I expect Toronto to come out with a bit of a fire and, at least respond to some degree. Whether or not they do win, I mean, that's sports betting. That's what we're trying to pick here. But I certainly think it's going to be a dogfight. I think the Blue Jays are going to keep it close, and I like them to get one back after dropping the first 2 in this series. The Rangers bullpen is also awful. That's one big thing that we do have to know. They've got a 5.78 ERA across the last 30 days. The Blue Jays is much better. I believe it's somewhere around 3.70 during that same time span. So we're going to take Blue Jays money line for the 5th and final pick of the return of the MLB betting picks. So let's do the final rundown as we always do. My first pick will be Braves-Phillies over 8.5 runs. Then we go Athletics plus 1.5 versus the Astros. Dodgers money line versus the Padres, Rays Twins over 9 runs, and Blue Jays money line versus the Texas Rangers. Guys, if you enjoyed the return of the betting picks, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on what is coming your way. Comment, let me know what your favorite plays of the day are, and I'll see you guys in a couple of hours with my NFL Week 1 betting recap / NFL Week 2 betting preview. But I'll see you all very soon. Have a great day.